Is it time for Larry Johnson to retire? That's a question I've heard numerous people ask over the past couple years. I don't think it is. Honestly, I think he is key to the Buckeyes defense being elite in 2023.
You are Locked On Buckeyes, your daily podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Buckeye fans? Welcome back to another episode of Locked On Buckeyes, part of Locked On Podcast Network. I'm your host, Jay Stevens, also the host of the Jay Stevens Podcast. It is Tuesday, March 14th in the year 2023, and I'd like to thank you for making Locked On Buckeyes your first listen or first watch of every single day. During this episode, we will go over why Daniel Jeremiah says C.J. Stroud is not a top 5 prospect in the upcoming NFL draft, and what went wrong, what Chris Holtmann did wrong during this recent basketball season. But before we get to any of that, it's all about improving right now and figuring out who is key for the Buckeyes to be elite in 2023. On offense, there are people. On defense, there are people. There's one coach specifically on defense that I believe is the key among all the coaches for this defense to be a lot better than it was a year ago. His name is Larry Johnson. You may say, Jay, Larry Johnson is coaching a unit that was not super productive last year, and there were some numbers that describe how there was not the production in some areas that you expect at Ohio State out of this unit. Tuimoloau was here. Sawyer is here. Sawyer solely playing D-end. You're not playing D-end and Jack. The Jack position in the upcoming season is huge. But what's also huge is Larry Johnson's expertise, Larry Johnson's track record, Larry Johnson's experience, and Larry Johnson's ability to connect with the athletes and be the teacher of the technique that he is to allow these young players to pick up what he's putting down, find a way to connect with them so that the defense can be huge, take huge strides in the upcoming season. I ain't going to sugarcoat it. I saw some of y'all yesterday in the YouTube comments saying some things about Denzel Burke. Okay, cool. I ain't going to sugarcoat nothing. This unit was not successful last year. This unit did not live up to the standard that was set at Ohio State for the defensive line. And I'm not talking about solely the sack stat category. It's not that. If you think about D-tackle, what do you think? Pressure. What was the question? Well, there wasn't noise pressure from that unit. What do you think about D-line? Depth. What do you think there? Well, once we got past the first unit, across the board, there was a significant, not just a slight drop-off, which is expected. There was a significant drop-off, and people were able to do things that you don't think should happen with Ohio State defensive linemen. And so when it comes to this year, I'm looking at the linebackers, Jim Knowles coaching them, cool. James Laurinaitis being the grad assistant, cool. That you had enough. I'm not even so much worried about the DBs. Like, I understand there's a lot of question at the DB position, but I can understand also the DBs are good. They play their best ball when the guys up front are playing their best ball. Now, not just playing their best ball, but sometimes playing out of their minds, having out-of-body experiences. Those are things you expect. When the D-line makes it easy makes plays good, makes it a whole lot easier for the guys behind them. And so I understand the issues that Burke and Brown and Hancock and all the other guys, the safeties, Ransom, Hickman. I understand all of their issues last year. And I think if we figure out and point just one unit, the defensive linemen, and say if they play great, if they play acceptable football, if they keep the standard high and play up to that standard, everybody else on the defense will be just fine. It all starts up front. And even last year, I recently saw also numbers put together in regards to D-line production under Larry Johnson, and just seeing how last year's unit didn't play up to the standard that has been set at Ohio State. Sacks per game last year, 2.62 sacks per game. this is all going towards the D-line production. Last year, percentage of the sacks coming from the defensive line, 67.6% of them of the sacks came from the D-line. Now, that's a significant drop from 2021, where the D-line was 85.1% of the sacks from the defense. 2022, just a year ago, percentage of hurries from the D-line, 62.9%. Okay, good. But even in 2021, where there was a lot of people questioning the defense, that's why they brought in Jim Knowles, right? 2021, the percentage of the hurries from the D-line was 70.8%. Now, granted, a lot of it was in 2021 just based off how they called the defense and things like that. And so I understand why the numbers are there. That's not the best, though. I think the best under Larry Johnson, 75.8% of the pressure of the hurries came from the D-line in 2017. In 2017 as well, percentage of the sacks that came from the D-line was 76.7. And so you're seeing the numbers there like, okay, here's a really good year of D-line production. Percentage of the hurries coming from the D-line under Larry Johnson, 75.8. Last year was a bad year. It wasn't even the worst, just a bad year. Okay, you also see 85% of the sacks. Now, I don't think you want that high of a number. It's okay to do that. But also, you want more sacks there as well. This unit wasn't up to par. But there are two guys I'm looking at specifically. Well, I could put 3, 4, 5. Two guys. One interior, one on the outside. Tyleik Williams, Tui Maloau. Now, I know what Tui Maloau can do, but I'm going to need Tyleik to step up. Excuse me. Let me pull myself out of this equation really quickly. The team is going to need Tyleik Williams to step up. Free 91? Okay, cool. You want to free him? Let him free. Show us why you should be on the field consistently. Free 91? Okay, cool. I'm here for free 91. But you have to show us every single day, every single down, every rep why you should be set free. Okay, cool. Get the starting role. Get the reps. Prove it. But you're going to have somebody on the interior and somebody on the outside to consistently get pressure. Tui Maloau can be more consistent. Sawyer can be more consistent. Everybody in this unit can be more consistent. And also, I'm looking at Larry Johnson. I have faith in him, but also have to have faith in him and the players together to get the job done. I don't doubt his ability to teach and to coach. I wonder, can he connect with the players there? I believe he can. Like, I have total faith in Larry Johnson. It's all in the players, man. This unit is key to the Buckeyes having success in 2023, and I believe Larry Johnson is a big piece of the pie and a big reason why this unit will be better and improved when the Buckeyes take the field in the fall. Once again, a player who was a Buckeye who will take the field in the fall, but at the next level, it's C.J. Stroud. Daniel Jeremiah recently released his top 50 draft prospects, and C.J. Stroud was outside of the top 5. We'll discuss why Daniel Jeremiah put him there next right here on Locked On Buckeyes. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. The midway point of the NBA season is here, and now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Then you can bet on everything from the money line to point scores and threes drained. Plus, FanDuel even lets you combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with a same-game parlay. So don't miss the chance to get your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets when you go to FanDuel.com/LockedOn. That's FanDuel.com/LockedOn to learn more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Go grab your bracket and go listen to the Locked On College Basketball Bracket Breakdown with national analysis and the insights from our local experts. The Locked On College Basketball Bracket Breakdown has everything you need to make the most informed decisions on your bracket. Find the episode on Locked On College Basketball wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube. Draft season. Mock draft season. Well, the draft is almost here, and we're in full swing of mock draft season. We're going to be doing some more of this stuff on a consistent basis to help you understand what might happen the final weekend in April and where Stroud and Jigba and the rest of the Buckeyes that'll be in the draft, where they might fall. Daniel Jeremiah, one of the most respected evaluators of the football for the draft, recently released his top 50 draft prospects for the upcoming draft. I am happy. I will say this. I am happy this came after the combine. This is 3.0. So this list that I'm looking at is after the combine, but I'm also happy that he did it after the combine, honestly, because you could have done it before the combine and not altered it post-combine, which is not much. I mean, granted, there's only so much you can take away from the shorts, T-shirts that the players are wearing. So I get that, but I like how you may alter your list and your rankings after an event that is that big. So 1 through 10, we're going to go through 1 through 10, discuss where Stroud is, why he is there, according to Daniel Jeremiah, kind of just break down this whole top 10 list. Number 1 on this list is Bryce Young. Number 2 is Will Anderson, edge defender from Alabama. Number 3 is Bijan Robinson, running back from Texas. Number 4 is Tyree Wilson, edge defender from Texas Tech. Number 5, Jalen Carter, D tackle from Georgia. Here's where it gets interesting. If you thought having Tyree Wilson was there at 4, how about number 6 being Devin Witherspoon from Illinois, a corner? 7 is Stroud, same as his number. Maybe that's why he's there. Just trying to be sarcastic. That's not why. Number 8, Peter Skoronski. Not even Paris Johnson Jr. is a top O tackle in this list. Jordan Addison, number 9. And then number 10 is Anthony Richardson. So there's no Buckeye that is the top in his position in the draft. When it comes to Stroud, I'm going to read you a lot of what he had to say about Stroud, why he put him here. And you're going to get a good feel for the things that are great and some of the weaknesses that we discussed here and even you discussed with your friends all outside of the podcast. Daniel Jeremiah says, quote, Stroud is a pure natural thrower with outstanding production. He has the desired size, arm strength, and decision-making for the position. He isn't a dynamic athlete in his setup, but he always throws off a firm, strong platform, end quote. I want to stop there and come back. All that is true. And we saw that on full display at the combine. When Stroud is coming out, and he's not the most athletic guy, and he's not athletic in the way that you want some quarterbacks nowadays, but when it comes to the natural thrower, with him being pure, outstanding production, I mean, that's Stroud, man. Footwork, impeccable. Phenomenal footwork. So I agree with everything he said there. He goes on, quote, he has a smooth delivery and throws a beautiful tight ball. He can layer the ball over linebackers and under safeties. He puts a nice loft on deep balls, making life easy on his pass catchers, end quote. Okay, cool. All this stuff is great. He goes on to discuss the biggest issues arise when he has to move or reset and deliver the ball as this causes his accuracy to suffer. This is the stuff we have said for a long period of time. Like, his analysis of Stroud is spot on, and he even goes on to discuss why the game against Georgia, great, but that was not consistent. That was a flash. That was one time. We had a cup of coffee. Literally, we all had a cup of coffee with Stroud playing that great at football. But it's interesting because he even says Stroud is definitely more of a shooter than a scorer. He will have success provided the pieces are in place in front of him and on the perimeter. Does that knock you outside of the top 5? Like, if you're saying all of these great things, wouldn't you think the other guys that are out there would be great? And even at simply the position, you would say, ooh, so Devin Witherspoon. Would I say Stroud or Witherspoon's a better player? I think Witherspoon is as consistent as Stroud, but I might put Stroud as a better player than Witherspoon here. When it comes to Jalen Carter, I'm not putting Stroud over Jalen Carter. Tyree Wilson, these are the things that get kind of nitpicky. I've always thought Stroud was a top 5 prospect. I don't think he'll be sure. See, like right now, he'll be drafted in the top 5. I said previously, at worst, top 9, based off the way that the draft order was going literally about a week ago. But if that's where he finds him, I generally try to lean towards the experts and those that have been doing this for a lot longer than I have and that have been watching these players closely. Extremely closely. With as much Buckeye football and really even Big Ten football that I watch, I don't get to watch players from other schools as much as I would like. I've seen all the guys here play. Actually, let me be honest with you, I don't think I've seen a full Texas Tech game over the past few years. So I can't say I've seen a full game from Tyree Wilson to say yes, Stroud, or no, Stroud. Just going to be completely honest with you. I think honesty is key, and I would need to watch a lot more film, a lot of film. And I even mean like 2 or 3 or 4 games from this year. That doesn't even go from last year. Like just 2 or 3 or 4 games to kind of get a good feel on Tyree Wilson, some of the good moments, some of the bad moments, some of the ups, some of the downs. But 7? And I have heard that some of the players in this draft are great. There's a drop-off. Okay. Daniel Jeremiah, I like you. And I really would love to have him on the show to discuss this and see what separates. Now, the other players that are on this list that are Buckeyes, got some time for this. Paris Johnson Jr. is number 18 on this list, the 18th best offensive tackle. Excuse me, the 3rd best offensive tackle on this list. And I do believe number 23 is Jackson Smith-Njigba, and I believe the only receiver that is above him is Jordan Addison at, what was it, number 9, I do believe? Yeah, as Addison at number 9. Njigba, slot. I still think he's an ideal slot at the next level, which is why he is not going to be probably number 1, the consensus number 1. Now, when it comes to quickness and change of motion and being a route runner, great. I think he's limited. If he wasn't limited, put him in the top 10. Because part of me believes, fully healthy, he's a better prospect than C.J. Stroud. Just being honest with you. Then when it comes to Paris Johnson Jr., he's behind 2 guys that are, these boys are good. These boys are really good. Peter Skoronski is one of them. He's number 8 on the list. And then there's another offensive tackle from Darnell Wright from Tennessee. He is number 17, right in front of Paris Johnson Jr. And so you're getting the list. Only 3 Buckeyes in the top 50. I don't think it's a crazy thing. I don't believe that is an astronomical statement to say that there's only 3 Buckeyes in the top 50. DeJuan Jones, we know what he needs to work on. Zach Harrison, nah, buddy, you're not there. Luke Whippler will probably get drafted higher than Harrison. The other guys, too many question marks. Stroud actually moved up from 8 to 7 in this list from Daniel Jeremiah's previous list, which is great. But I don't even know if the pro day could get Stroud in the top 5. Maybe he runs a 4.5 40. Don't think it's going to happen. But if he runs a 4.5 40, you might say, ooh, let's move him up. He's even better than we thought. But the game film is not going to override the pro day in the workouts here, which is why I think Stroud is not going to move anywhere if Daniel Jeremiah makes another list. I can make a list of a lot of things that Chris Holtmann did not do right during the basketball season. He did a lot of things good, did a lot of things wrong too. We're going to go over a few of them next right here on Locked on Buckeyes. This episode is brought to you by Billiards Plus. Billiards Plus has the best selection of pool tables, game tables, shuffleboard tables, and more, and the best service in Central Ohio. Billiards Plus also can set you up with a brand new top-of-the-line grill that will last for generations. We all know how hard it is with the supply chain issues this year and getting certain things shipped on time. So when it comes to ordering that one big gift for someone you love, check out Billiards Plus and get there early this year. Billiards Plus carries the best pool tables from Brunswick, Olhausen, Canada, Billiards, and more. Plus, top-of-the-line grills from PK, Napoleon, Memphis, and the Griddle. That will be the last grill you own. Seriously, these grills stand the test of time. No matter the season, Billiards Plus has you covered for all your indoor and outdoor entertainment needs. Visit their showroom on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin. Check them out at billiards-plus.com. Billiards Plus, family owned and operated for generations. bracket season is here. This year, and I think this is the first time we're going to have a Locked On Buckeyes bracket challenge. I'll say this up front. It is free. All you have to do is go to the ESPN Tournament Challenge app. Search Locked On Buckeyes when you're trying to join a group. It is free. No money is involved. What do we win or what do we earn? Bragging rights. I know you want to win some money. Earn some bragging rights and just say, hey, I won the bracket challenge this year. Maybe I'll win it next year if you win it this year. But easily go there. I made my bracket earlier today before recording the show. Join the bracket. I'm in there. My bracket's already in there. And let's have a little fun this year during March Madness. The Buckeyes aren't in it, but we can have fun and watch the basketball and enjoy it while they're at home working on being a better basketball team during next season. Speaking of next season, I didn't think Chris Holtmann will be there for next season, and ultimately, I don't know if he still will be. Actually, I do believe he will be. I don't think he should be for numerous reasons. Because it's basketball season, yes, it had 3 stories. The first 13 games, the next 15 games, and the final 7 games. 10-3 to 1-5. These are the marks in these stretches. From 10-3 to 1-14 to 5-2. This team this season had a lot of ups, a lot of downs, a lot of down periods, a lot of low periods. Even at the end of the season, I don't know if the Buckeyes would have been in the NIT tournament. And I think if they got an invitation, I don't know if they got an invite that has not been out just yet. But if they did, I do think Chris Holtmann would have declined it due to the injuries. And that's one thing that kind of concerned me in the Big Ten tournament. Bryce Sensabaugh went down. I think there were 2 games that they played without Bryce Sensabaugh. About a few hours before the final game that the Buckeyes played this season against Purdue, it was announced that Sensabaugh was out for the season. And here I am at the end of the season thinking, okay, no Zedke, here comes Felix Lakpara already in rotation. Bryce Sensabaugh comes out, Sean McNeil goes back in the starting lineup. Okay, already in rotation. Are you going to add more guys to the rotation since all of a sudden you have 2 guys out? Chris Holtmann said, I see you, Kalen Etzler. I see you, Owen Spencer. No, okay, Spencer's not going to be – he's just a body. It's a body with some fouls. Just going to be honest. But I see you, Owen Spencer. I see you, Kalen Etzler. I see you, Tanner Holden. But y'all going to sit there on the bench, ride the pine, and not be a big piece of the pie. Now, granted, Tanner Holden, the first game since the ball went out, Tanner Holden hit a 3, got called for a tech. I don't think he came back in the game. If he did, it was only for a hot minute. Chris Holtmann said, no, buddy, we're not going to do this right now. Okay, cool. I get it. I still think they needed him in the game. Against Purdue, early portion of the second half, even in the first half, those boys were gassed. And Chris Holtmann still rode those guys the entire way and didn't bring more guys in to even give them a couple minutes of rest. There were a lot of coaching decisions this year that didn't make sense. Now, granted, I said earlier in the season, maybe even January, for sure February, but probably January, I didn't think Chris Holtmann was connecting with the players. And Chris Holtmann even said he didn't think he thought there were times that he was not connecting with the players like he wanted to. It wasn't hard to see. It was rocket science. And I'm sitting here thinking, if we're having a coach, if Ohio State has a coach that consistently is not connecting or developing players or getting the most out of his players, why does Ohio State continue to bring him around and keep him around? I'm not saying Chris Holtmann is a horrible coach. I don't think he's horrible. I just think his time at Ohio State is up. This season, when I think about Chris Holtmann, find different ways to connect. And if he exhausted all of his options, so be it. I don't know if he did or not. It just seemed like nothing happened. The connection was not there. Also, I wonder if earlier on in the season, when he started taking out Bryce Sensabaugh, took him out of the starting lineup. Okay, your leading scorer not starting early in the year. I was like, okay, cool. It's going to be hard to keep Bryce Sensabaugh out of the starting lineup. What does Chris Holtmann do? Take him out of the starting lineup. Why? Like, you're hurting your own production by making that move. Also, you have a lead guard in Bruce Thornton, who is a guy that next year can take Ohio State deep into the tournament, the NC2A tournament, not the NIT. But ultimately, will Chris Holtmann use him in the right way? Will Chris Holtmann put him in the right way for him to be successful? Because I've seen too many times for too many years this team stand around One guy goes out, Zed Key goes out. It's like the whole offense goes down the drain. Why? It's coaching, man. You got to find a way to run plays that actually work. You have to. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. It's very confusing to watch this team play. For as much basketball as we have all watched, to see this same song and dance be played over and over and over and over again. At some point, something needs to change. Now, I know I said Chris Beard would be a great option for Ohio State. He is now the coach at Ole Miss. There's another coach out there that I may talk about, well, Rick Pitino. I don't think Ohio State will ever hire Rick Pitino. Not even just because of his past scandal at Louisville, but also he's a better overall coach than Ryan Day. Now this is me being a little bit different, maybe. But do you think Ohio State wants a basketball coach? Just a little question. I have no idea. Do you think Gene Smith wants the basketball coach to be better overall coach than the football coach? A literal question. You may say, Jay, it doesn't matter. Okay. Thad Matta's good. Urban Meyer's better at coaching at the sport. Thad Matta's good. Jim Tressel's really good as well. So I understand, like, having really good coaches at the Two Revenue Sports, great. But I don't know if you want to bring in that personality to Columbus, man, and Rick Pitino and doing great things at Iona. I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah, I think he's a better option than Chris Holtmann. I just don't think Ohio State will make the move to bring in Rick Pitino, a coach in his 70s, to come to Ohio State. If they did, great. I'd be happy. I'd be all for it. I just don't think that's the move they're going to make. We're out of here on a Tuesday, guys. Make sure to join the Locked On Buckeyes Bracket Challenge on the ESPN Tournament Challenge app. It may be ESPN TC. That may be the app you see once you download it, but download the app. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Talk trash. I may come on here and brag a little bit or talk about where I felt a little bit, whatever it is. We're going to have fun with a bracket challenge right here every day. Also, the link for that challenge will be in the show notes. You have until the start of the tournament on Thursday to join the group. The group will lock and you will not be able to join late. Guys, I love this time of year. I love basketball. I love all this stuff, and I'm excited for the NCAA tournament in 2023. You can follow me on Twitter at jsteven07. We'll be back Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I may do a bucket list discussion about things about my bucket list for college football, college basketball, and other things, just to kind of have a little bit of fun during the offseason. I got a list. You got a list. Maybe we could compare our list right here in the week on Locked On Buckeyes.